What if I told you one of the Mughal emperors was genuinely, measurably brilliant? Could read the stars, spoke multiple languages, understood art, philosophy, architecture, and was also one of the worst emperors they ever had. Not because he was dumb, but because he was too interesting for the job. Humayun inherited the empire in 1530. He was 22, and from day one, you could tell this man had priorities. He was obsessed with astronomy. He built elaborate schedules around celestial bodies. His court ran on planetary systems, different days, different departments, themed by stars. Jupiter Day, Moon Day, Venus Day. It sounds insane, but also honestly kind of cool. He just had no business running an empire on the system. His brothers were constant disaster. Three of them, all entitled, all eyeing throne. Kamran was the worst. Ambitious, disloyal. The kind of guy who would sell you out and then show up at your own dinner. And Humayun's response to all of this was to share, divide the territories, give them pieces. Because he was genuinely too decent for this power. Babur had fought his whole life for this land, and Humayun gave chunks of it away at family lunch. Then came Sher Shah Suri, an absolute unit of a ruler, efficient, ruthless, military sharp, the exact opposite of Humayun. They clashed at Chausa in 1539. Humayun lost so badly he escaped with the help of a water carrier who used a goatskin bag to help him stay afloat while crossing River Ganga. And then he lost it again at Kannauj a year later. Fully, finally out. Here's the part history runs over. The exile years were actually kind of good for Humayun. He wandered Sindh, Rajputana, and eventually even Persia. And in that time, he read, studied, surrounded himself with painters and poets, and even fell in love. In Sindh, he met Hamida Banu Begum. She was 14, didn't particularly want to marry a homeless ex-emperor, and said no for 40 days straight. He kept asking. She eventually said fine. In 1542, in Amarkot, she gave birth to Akbar. In Persia, Shah Tahmasp received him. He was the son of Shah Ismail, who had helped Humayun's fathers before. Humayun soaked in the cultural exchange. Persian art, Persian miniature painting, Persian aesthetic. He brought all of it back. Shah Tahmasp lent Humayun an army in exchange for converting to Shia Islam and handing over Kandahar. Humayun said yes. He would have said yes to almost anything at this point. When Humayun eventually returned to India, he didn't just bring an army, he also brought artists. He set up the foundation of what would become the entire Mughal school of painting. That happened because he spent 15 years with nothing to do but learn. He came back, retook Kabul, retook Lahore, marched towards Delhi. And here's the thing nobody really says out loud. Sher Shah had been dead for years at this point. His Sur dynasty was crumbling from the inside. Humayun wasn't defeating anyone. He was walking in a vacuum and calling it victory. Which fine, a win is a win. He recaptured Delhi in 1555. After 15 years, he was emperor again. He lasted 6 months. In January 1556, he was carrying books up from his library, tripped, fell, dead in 3 days. Here's the thing about Humayun. He probably would have thrived as a scholar, an artist, an astronomer, or even anything else. He was a deeply cultured man in a deeply uncultured job. The throne needed a strategist. It got a stargazer. And somehow the stargazer's 15 years of wandering and learning produced Akbar. Maybe that was the whole point. Next up, the son who actually knew what to do with all of it, Akbar.